This is a small recap of Destiny's story and main events to get you ready for the Final Shape expansion this June. If you're interested in a way more in-depth 6-hour video with timestamps for every season and expansion, click at the top right of the screen in the description or the top pinned comment. Destiny's been going since 2014, so there's tons of story you won't get from this video, but let's dive right in. Humanity once faced overpopulation, economic crises. Everything changed though when an alien sphere known as the Traveler arrived, ushering in a golden age of technology and exploration. This entity, the Traveler, would visit many species and worlds before in the hopes of uplifting them, terraforming their worlds, and giving technology. The Traveler arrived in Sol System and colonized our planets, but the Traveler's ancient enemy, the Darkness, brought the collapse, nearly destroying everything. The Traveler fought back, creating the Ghosts to find Guardians, dead humans, resurrecting them to defend Earth and the last city from alien threats. Destiny has many enemies. The Hive, formed millions of years ago from the Krill and a gas giant called Fundament. 3 siblings, Oryx, Savathun, and Xivu Arath, became powerful Hive gods after making a pact with the worm gods deep below their planet. The Hive spread across the universe, destroying everything in their path. Oryx the Taken King could take other beings, turning them into his minions and tearing them from their physical forms. The Vex are time-traveling robots aiming to preserve their dying species. They invaded our reality through a portal opened by Oryx's son, Crota. The Vex are a hive mind of microscopic organisms that live in what's called radiolaria, this white substance which takes the form of the robot bodies you see in the game. The hive mind Vex can manipulate time and reality, posing a significant threat to all life forms. They can make various simulations, but they can't simulate paracausal or magical entities like the Guardians and Traveler, which is their biggest issue. The Eliksni, or the Fallen, once prospered under the Traveler themselves and visited their world. They fell into ruin after the Traveler left them. Now they remain scavenging the stars, seeking to find the Great Machine and its return to their homeworld. The Fallen are divided into various houses, often warring with each other and other species in the first Destiny game. The Cabal, a militaristic empire led by various leaders, including Emperor Callus and Dominus Gall. Cabal destroy entire planets, brute force their way through any conflict. Now we get into the events, the Golden Age and Collapse. The Traveler's arrival brought prosperity, humans colonizing other worlds in our system like Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world, but the Darkness, the Traveler's ancient enemy, would arrive, which led to the collapse. Rasputin, a supercomputer AI, detected the threat on the edge of the system but couldn't stop it. For weeks and months, catastrophes would rain across Earth. Hurricanes, tornadoes, dust storms. Pretty much every catastrophe you could think of. The Traveler was able to repel this ancient enemy whom we first referred to as the Darkness, sacrificing itself and creating the Ghosts. The collapse would scatter humanity once more. After the collapse came the Dark Age. Warlords rose, the first Guardians risen by the Ghosts. Warlords would control parts of ruined Earth, but eventually the evil ones were rooted out and destroyed, and those Guardians of humanity now would form the last city on Earth underneath the Traveler. Destiny has 3 character classes. You play as a revived human, an Awoken, or an Exo. Awoken are humans born from the collision of light and dark during the collapse. Exos are human consciousness inside robotic bodies, created by Clovis Bray and his corporation during the Golden Age. Destiny 1 and the Taken King. Guardians fight various alien threats. The Vanguard leaders of each class, Cade for Hunter, Ikora for Warlocks, and Zavala for Titans, guide your Guardian. We venture to various planets, and with help from the Exo Stranger learn about the Black Heart. Queen Marisov of the Reef and her brother Aldrin help us find it in the Black Garden. It's destroyed and the Traveler begins to heal. Oryx, enraged by his son Crota's death soon after the events of Destiny 1, invade with his taken army. Guardians venture to Oryx's dreadnought around Saturn, defeating his lieutenants and ultimately killing Oryx in his throne world, preventing him from returning. In Destiny 2, Ghaul's Red Legion captured the Traveler, cutting off the light from the Guardians. The Vanguard and Guardians were scattered now across the system. Your character would venture to various planets to get the gang back together and formulate a plan. They head to the Shard of the Traveler in the European Dead Zone to reclaim their light, make a plan with various leaders, and eventually storm the city and Ghaul's ship. Ghaul ascends. He actually managed to get the light for himself, but the Traveler intervenes. After this, the Traveler reawakens, sending a shockwave of light across the system, waking up its ancient enemy in deep space. The Guardians, after the main events of Destiny 2, complete many raids aboard the Leviathan, Emperor Callus's starship. Callus was the former ruler of the Cabal Empire before Ghaul. He was exiled and sent adrift on this ship in space. With Ghaul now out of the picture, he's arrived and needs your help. You board, complete your worth, and destroy many enemies. Callus appears over the next years to come in the story. Curse of Osiris in Warmind. Guardians encounter Osiris, a legendary warlock, and uncovered secrets about the Vex on Mercury, preventing a dark future where they win. In Warmind, the Guardian partners with Anna Bray to awaken the Warmind Rasputin and stop the hive worm god Zol from wreaking further havoc. Forsaken. Aldrin Sov of the Reef, brother to Queen Mara, kills Cayde 6, leading Guardians on a revenge mission. Aldrin, corrupted by darkness, sought to revive his sister Mara after she sacrificed herself during the Taken King. Aldrin leads a new Scorn army, fallen enemies corrupted by darkness. Guardians head to the tangled shore of the reef and defeat him.
The line between light and dark is so very thin. Do you know which side you're on?
The Dreaming City opens up to the Guardian, an awoken city with many secrets. The Dreaming City, a place cursed to repeat a 3-week cycle due to Savathun's manipulation, also houses the last known Ahamkara, Riven, a wish dragon who was taken by Oryx. The Guardians infiltrate the city and kill the wish dragon. After Forsaken, Aldrin Sov, who killed Cayde 6, gets revived as a Guardian. We killed him in Forsaken, but now he was back with his own ghost. That's all we know for right now, more on his story in a bit. Shadowkeep and Beyond Light. Guardians face nightmares on the moon and first communicated with the darkness in a long-dormant pyramid ship hiding inside the moon. Turns out during the collapse, many different enemies of this darkness, which we'll talk about in a bit, would storm Earth. One of them had this pyramid ship and it crash landed here.
Violence, beauty, truth. These things await inside. There's no turning back now. Welcome. We've been waiting.
The arrival of the pyramid ships heralded a new threat. At the end of Destiny 2's campaign, we saw the Traveler woke them up and they were on their way this whole time. Season of the Rivals, they made it to Sol.
It is as we once said. In light, there is only weakness, only failure, only death. But where the light takes, the dark gives. No longer will you be a pawn. No longer will you watch the lives of those you care for be lost. Remember, in darkness there is only strength, only victory, only life. Ancient power awaits you on Europa.
A voice in the darkness called us to Europa, the same we heard back on the moon. In Beyond Light, Guardians discover Stasis, a new dark power on Europa. That creature of the darkness from Shadowkeep was beckoning us to come further, come closer to this power. On Europa, we once again meet the Exo Stranger, who we learn now is Elsie Bray. Elsie Bray is a sister to Anna Bray. Their grandfather, Clovis Bray, was the mad scientist who founded the Bray Corporation, responsible for creating the Exos, the Warmind Rasputin, and many other secrets and experiments. On the Ice Moon, Elsie Bray helps you acquire Stasis the correct way. She's seen a dark future and doesn't want that to happen. Here also exist other Fallen who are trying to acquire the darkness power of Stasis for themselves. The Guardians destroy Aramis, uncover Clovis Bray's sinister legacy in the Deep Stone Crypt, and his further experiments with darkness. In Beyond Light season, we remember Aldrin Sov got revived. In Season of the Hunt, Chosen, and Splicer, we team up with some alien factions, Empress Keitel of the Cabal and Mithrax of the Elixni. They help us take on looming threats like the hive god Savathun. Osiris loses his ghost Sagira on the moon. And throughout that whole year of Beyond Light, Savathun was impersonating him within the city, so every time we thought we were talking to Osiris, it was the Hive God herself. In Witch Queen, Savathun the Witch Queen herself would steal the light, creating Hive Lightbearers. Guardians infiltrate her throne world, uncover the truth about the Witness, and prevent her from taking the Traveler and sealing it away. Savathun's deception and manipulation had been a long-term plan to escape the Witness's control and seize the light for herself. Savathun's plots and schemes have been brewing in Destiny 2 since pretty much its creation and finally arrived in that expansion. In Savathun's throne world, we find Ralk, the first disciple of the Witness. Ralk was stationed here by the Witness to watch Savathun and experiment with hive worms aboard his sunken pyramid. The Guardians defeat him. We now speak of the Witness. Since Shadowkeep, the Witness has been trying to communicate with the Guardian, this voice in the darkness, on the moon, then on Europa as we acquire Stasis. After defeating Savathun and Witch Queen, the first reveal of this major villain was seen for the first time.
Your pale heart holds the key. This time, there is no escape.
Witch Queen seasons had some major events go on. Season of the Haunted, we learned about Emperor Callus, how he's beginning to merge with the pyramid ship on the moon, become a disciple of the Witness. In Season of the Seraph, forces of Xivu Arath, Savathun's sister and a ultimate hive god of war, begin to invade parts of the system. They have a goal of using the Seraph station to either try and fire on the Traveler, or use it to fuel enough power to summon Xivu herself, thus invade Earth. The Guardians put a stop to it. In the process, the Traveler lifts up from the last city and hovers above Earth in the atmosphere.
again.
Why does it not flee?
Because it has nowhere else to run.
In Lightfall, the Witness and its newest disciple, Callus, arrive to Earth. Communing with the Traveler, the Witness learns of an ancient entity called the Veil it needs to enact the final shape and rewrite the universe. The Veil is on Neptune. Heading to Neptune, we find Neomuna, an entire city that survived the collapse and has been hidden ever since. An alternate version of humanity has been living here. We fight through the city, but in the end, the Witness uses our ghost to link the Traveler and Veil together, which opens a portal and it escapes. Through the year of Lightfall, we learned a lot. The Witness was once a species whom the Traveler gifted. They had the light, cities, terraformed planets, but it wasn't enough for them. They weren't happy with this silent god. Among the stars, they found an artifact of darkness, the Traveler's counterpart called the Veil. With the Veil and Traveler, they could create this final shape the universe as they wish. The species used the Veil to merge themselves into one being, the Witness, forgetting their past and focusing on the final goal, hunting the Traveler across space, finding the Veil and creating the final shape. The Witness has manipulated many species. It found worthy members of said species like Ralk from Lubre to forge its own disciples that assisted on its journey toward the end. Ralk and the Witness essentially created the Hive. The Traveler was about to choose them, but the Witness instead told them to venture into the deep and take up the worms, take darkness and follow this other path. The Witness is a being of pure rage, and it must be stopped. During humanity's collapse, the Traveler's ancient enemy was the Witness, its pyramid fleet and its disciples. They would attack, each unleashing havoc for months. Disciples like Ralk, Nezarec, and Savathun were a part of this. For some reason, Savathun betrayed the Witness by killing Nezarec and hiding the Veil on Neptune. The Witness and his fleet were sent away among the stars until the events of Destiny 2 when they reawaken. In Lightfall, aboard the Witness's pyramid ship, we fight Nezarec, another disciple who was accidentally revived during the opening events of the expansion. Nezarec was the disciple betrayed by Savathun, and his pyramid is the one you see in Shadowkeep inside the moon. Nezarec was the final god of pain and could induce nightmares in his enemies. He was also destroyed. Eris Morn, who's had big parts to play in previous expansions and seasons, becomes a hive god in Season of the Witch to outsmart Xivu Arath. We'll definitely see Xivu in the future at some point. We also learn of a magic wish hidden in Savathun's wings that will help us follow the Witness through the portal. And in Season of the Wish, we follow the wish, conjuring the essence of Riven, the Ahamkara we destroyed in Forsaken, to help us find a way to enter the portal. Crow is the first one to go through and open the way. In the final shape, the Traveler and Guardians now prepare for the ultimate confrontation with the Witness, an ancient enemy commanding the darkness. The Witness seeks to bring about the final shape, an end state for the universe with no light or darkness, no life or death. Guardians must unite to stop this existential threat and ensure the survival of humanity and all life in the universe. The portal you see from Lightfall leads inside the Traveler to a place called the Pale Heart. New enemies will be confronted in the Dread, perfectly shaped creatures in the eyes of the Witness, and we must now fight with all of our allies to save the universe. So there you have it, Guardians, a quick, and I mean quick, recap of Destiny's story. As I mentioned, this game has years of lore, and if you'd like to see a full breakdown of everything, be sure to check out the entire story video. But for now, the battle is far from over, so eyes up and we'll see you on the next adventure.